4 different items I want to give you so you can better understand this, okay? So we're free, but we give up some of that freedom so that we can live more meaningfully. It sounds kind of odd, and that's a contradiction in itself. But let's go here, okay? The first thing I got to ask you to do is when your faith and academics, when they don't line up, understand the system before you try to change the system, okay? Understand the system before you try to change it. So, since you're in college, if you believe in God, some of what you experience will go against what you believe, but some of it will go for what you believe. So, you may hear things that, hey, life is unexplainable, and you like that. That's good, because there's something that's miraculous that's going on. And you might hear about how religious morals have made the world better. And you're like, yeah, this really goes well with me. But you might hear some stuff that doesn't go well with you. You might hear things like the Big Bang Theory, and you might even hear that other religions or atheists have done amazing things in the world too. And what do I do with that? You deal with it, okay? I'm glad you're hearing things that are different than what you believe. Deal with it. Now, on the other side of that, maybe you don't believe in God. Maybe you're a true atheist. Maybe you think God, he may be real, it may be real, but not really for me. And you're going to hear some stuff too that kind of goes with what you believe and against that. So you're going to hear stuff like humans evolved from primates, and you're like, yeah. And you'll hear things like, you know what? We found it, the purpose of human life, just to procreate and die. That's it. And you're like, yeah, that's science. That makes sense. Or you might hear some stuff where you hear things like, hey, you know what? Science, it doesn't last. Science 500 years ago, no one's impressed, right? In 2015, how impressed are you with the science of 1515? Not impressed at all, right? How impressed do you think the people of 2515 will be about our science today? Do you think they're going to sit there and say, oh, they had the iPhone 6. Going on 7, they had it down. And that's going to be hard to take because it goes against what you believe. And I totally get it. My response to that is good. I am glad that you have things that contradict one another. We need to deal with it. So, if I experience something in college that contradicts my faith, what should I do? We got to do 4 things. So, we understand the system. And this is what Paul talks about when he's talking about, oh, be under the law, becoming like those who are not having the law. So basically, Paul became like the people. He understood the system first. So think of all the famous people that we like. We like to say words like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. We like saying things like Malala, you soft sigh, right? We feel like we almost know them sometimes. And we like to imagine us being part of them or doing things like they do. But what did they do? Because they all lived at times where what they believed and what they learned didn't match up, okay? They actually did exactly what Paul did. They gave up some of their freedom for the greater good, okay? So, first of all, you got Gandhi, okay? And most of us, we know bald, older Gandhi. This is Gandhi when he was cool. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, young, good-looking dude. Now, he lived at a time when the British ruled India, and they didn't do it very nicely. All you history people know that, okay? Gandhi, he's not famous because he fought just the oppressive British system. He's famous because of who he was. He went and got his law degree at the Inner Temple in London. Only 4 places in London could you get a law degree and actually practice law back then. And then he practiced law in South Africa. That's what he did. He was part of the system. He did the stuff before he got upset and tried to figure out how to change it. He wasn't just a random person screaming about injustice and the wrong things in the world. He learned the system, and he didn't fight with big words and explosive weapons. He fought it with this thing called peaceful non-cooperation. We like saying Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? Good-looking man. This is when he was in school. He went to school too. He got a bachelor's degree in sociology, Morehouse College. Any sociology people out there? Yeah, we got a couple? Good to know. He got his bachelor's in divinity as well, and he got his PhD in systematic theology from Boston University. He understood the system first before he could do anything about it. Malala Yousafzai, the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner, just this last year at 17 years old, she's an activist. She fights for female education in Pakistan. So this is a culture where, in general, women don't have equal access to education. And she said they should. And she blogged, and she wrote, and she said stuff. She got shot in the head on her way home on the bus from school. She lived, right? And she kept on talking about it. She's going to school too. She had to understand the system before she did anything about it, and so did Paul the Apostle. So my advice to you is learn about the system. Get all the education you can. Complete your studies as the same time you are trying to figure out your faith. But education is absolutely key. So you're going to hear some stuff. You're going to hear the newest stuff that proves evolution, and the newest stuff that disproves God. Or in the opposite, you have to hear about God in literature class. And you're like, why do I have to do this? But what I'm learning and what I feel when they clash, what do I do? Okay? First thing you need to do, understand the system. The second thing you need to do is don't worry. Okay? Give it some time. There was a time when people thought the earth was flat. That was the best science available. And everybody's like, it's flat. Don't go out there. Don't go out in the ocean. Riptide take you out. You're gone. Right? And they said, somebody, thank goodness for this person. They said, hey, you know what? Forget that. Forget that. I'm going. I think there's more. Right? So when you hear something that contradicts what you already believe, I need you to calm down. Okay? I'll give you an example. Okay? March 2014, 1 year ago, 200 of the world's best physicists and astronomers got together, and they said, we're going to find these things called gravitational waves. 100 different worldwide universities got together to do this study, some from UCSD, and they found these gravitational waves. And why is that important? All the science people know this, because you had a huge evolution party last March 2014. What happened is if you can find gravitational waves, you can find support for cosmic inflation. Just stay with me. I know you did a full day of school already. But if you can support cosmic inflation, you can help support the Big Bang Theory. If you can help support the Big Bang Theory, you're good. And when they found these waves, they celebrated. There were evolution parties last March 2014. And people who were believers, they freaked out. What do I do if evolution's true? What a waste of my time, right? And everybody who believed in it, they're like, yeah, I told you. But what happened? Anybody at the end of that story? Because the story ended quick. Just this last month, February 2nd, 2015, those same scientists got together. Why? Because someone called them out on it. And they said, hey, you know what? I don't think they're gravitational waves, dude. They're not. And they're like, oh, man, we got to go look at it. So they went and they looked at it again on February 2nd, and as Scientific American, they said, hey, you know what? They're not gravitational waves. It was actually Milky Way dust. No joke, no joke, no joke. 200 of the smartest people on this earth mistook Milky Way dust for gravitational